Paratroopers from the French Foreign Legion have now taken control of the north of Timbuktu. The French military says it has set up checkpoints on the outskirts of the city on access routes. Al Jazeera filmed this exclusive footage inside Timbuktu earlier. It shows fighters of the Ansar militia who have occupied the city for 10 months vacating their bases, but they tell us it's a tactical retreat to regroup and plan a later assault. Our correspondent Jacky Rowland is with the French military. Jacky, you are at the airport in Timbuktu, which has been taken over, but what more details are you getting about the plan to retake Timbuktu?
We've been getting a lot of detail now exactly of how the operation to encircle and attack the city was carried out. In fact, the very first French to arrive at the city were actually paratroopers, about 200 paratroopers who parachuted into the northern suburbs of Timbuktu. This was the first time that the paratroopers had carried out this kind of operation since Congo in 1978, just to give you some kind of historical context here. We were following French and Malian ground troops towards the southwest, so there was an attack from the ground in the southwest and then that attack from the air in the north. Now, the situation as we know it at the moment is that there are paratroopers still controlling the northern area, and there are other French forces controlling the south. We understand that Malian troops are controlling from the west and the east, the checkpoints that you mentioned encircling the city. We're not getting any detail yet about when there will actually be a further movement in towards the centre of the city. Anyway, for now, let's take a look at the events leading up to the offensive against Timbuktu.
Boosted by news of their gains in the east, French troops push north towards Timbuktu. Wherever they go, it's the same welcome. Entire villages, entire towns line the roadside. They greet the French like liberators. In the town of Funke, we came across a compound that had been used by Al-Qaeda-linked rebels. Their slogans were scrawled over the walls. Local people say there were about 20 of them, and they left in a hurry.
They left some time ago. When the attack started against the town of Kona, they all fled.
Here as elsewhere, we found no signs of a fight. It seems the rebels simply fled when they got word that the French were approaching. French units have been massing to the southwest of Timbuktu. After travelling through Saturday night, there is now a pause. It's clear they're preparing to advance on this key rebel stronghold.
With each town along the road, the strategy has been the same. Malian troops go first, closely followed by French forces. This is because they want to create the impression that this is the Malian government retaking towns and not a foreign army conquering them.
The Malian army needs to win the confidence of ordinary people. When the rebels took over the north, the army simply ran away. The French involvement has changed everything.
It's been very difficult because we need a lot of logistical support. We need help with intelligence and communications. This is what we need in order to finish this operation.
This group has a prisoner. They say he's a rebel. The army has been accused of score settling and summary executions. They lead their prisoner away. Senior French officers commanding the operation fly to the front line. They've come to give the troops their final briefing before the assault on Timbuktu.
Jacky, Ansar al-Din say that they will return, that they're just leaving to regroup. I mean, that's one of the difficulties of fighting these fighters, is that they are capable of just disappearing.
That is very much a problem, yes. Capturing a territory, capturing towns is one thing, but actually holding on to them over the weeks and months ahead is something entirely different. Just to give you a bit more information about the situation here at the airport, French forces have been actually scouring the airport, and they found a lot of explosives in the control tower. Not quite sure whether there was some plan to blow up the air traffic control tower, or whether it was some kind of booby trap. But it does give you an idea of how the hours ahead are not necessarily going to be plain sailing. Just other one detail, we've just seen in the last few minutes some kind of a local dignitary appears to have come to the airport. We're not quite sure who he is, but certainly some local, someone from the local populace. And also, as we drove into the airport, we could hear a certain amount of cheering and welcoming, but very, very small scale compared to the kind of images that you saw in that report of mine, which really gives you an idea how Timbuktu is different. More of a mixed population here. Up until now, the troops have been largely moving through black African areas. Timbuktu, obviously, we're starting to get into an area now where there are more Tuareg and more Arabs, people who will obviously feel more uncomfortable, maybe more fearful about the arrival of this black African army, given the historical tensions between the black Africans in the south and the Arabs, the Tuareg, the lighter-skinned people in the north. So really quite a complex situation here in the town, and the future of Timbuktu and the possible ability of Ansar to come back will also depend to an extent on the feelings of the populace and, of course, on the crucial arrival eventually of West African forces whose task is to secure this territory in the longer term.
Jacky, you were saying how many of the locals were very happy to see these forces coming in and freeing them, if you like. Did they give you a sense of what sort of damage has been done to Timbuktu?
Well, we're not, unfortunately, in a position to give you first-hand testimony of that just yet. I mean, we're fortunate that our sister channel, Al Jazeera Arabic, has been able to furnish us with those images from the inside of the city and the retreat, be it tactical or permanent, of the Ansar fighters. In terms of actually damage in the city, we'll have to follow that in the hours to come. We're not anticipating that we will be able to move forward for some hours yet, but that could change. We're often told that there will be long waits, and then we're told that we've got to get ready in 15 minutes, but be sure that we will update you either in vision or over the telephone as and when we get that information.
All right, I look forward to that. Thank you, Jacky.